Hi everybody. Today I'm going to teach you how to make a lamb curry using a 5-bowl recipe. Get your hair out the way, put an apron on if you like, and I'm not wearing a mask because I'm making this curry for myself. So I'm going to now prepare the 5 bowls. So these are my 5 bowls. Bowl 1, chopped onion, you can see in cubes. Curry leaf, about 5. I'm making a half a kilo of lamb. Green chilies just slit. Cinnamon stick and 2 cinnamon stick, 2 cloves. That's it. Bowl 2 is my mixed masala. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Bowl 3 is my lamb. Leg of lamb is best. Trimmed, cubed, with a teaspoon of ginger and garlic, a teaspoon of coarse salt. Bowl 4, one tomato, chopped. And bowl 5 are the potatoes chopped into, I would say from every potato you should get 6 pieces. I'm only making a half a kilo here, so this can be doubled for your own family. Coming back to this masala, I use 6 teaspoons of mixed masala, and you can use Kashmiri, mother-in-law's masala. Get some chili powder, and you can always add a teaspoon or 2 extra to that if you want it hotter. For a kilo you'll need a teaspoon of dhania powder or a teaspoon of jeera powder. I've added half a teaspoon there because I am cooking half a kilo. So here the oil, just enough to cover the bottom of the pan. Okay, to me that looks just a bit too much, and I use a very old trusted pan. I stopped Teflon coating it because you've got to start on high heat with Indian cooking and they always wear off. So it would be my bowl 1 that comes into play. It's not ready yet. I've got the oil on high, and you would just leave that for a few minutes and we'll come back when it's ready. So the onions are frying nicely. It's on high. You may want to turn it down to medium. My stove is different from yours. This is thickly hot ring. And you don't have to use 3 chilies. I like my food hot. So we will know soon when it's ready for bowl number 2, which is the masala. Then bowl 3 is the meat. Bowl 4, tomatoes. Later you'll need bowl 5. You don't want it golden brown. You want it just right. I would think you would have to do this. You can time me when we get back. I'll show you when it's ready. I would give it about 5 minutes on medium, but your stove is different from mine. So to me, my onions look nearly about ready. Just tinges of golden brown. And my stove is very fast, so I'm bringing it down from 4 to 3, and I'm going to add my masala. Give it a good cook. Make sure that all the masala is absorbed by the oil and it's cooking. Okay. Now for bowl 3. Little bit of water in it because you've rinsed your leg of lamb. and scooped out the rest of the water or poured it out. So you're mixing your ginger and garlic paste, your masala, and your lamb, so it's all nicely coated. And if you feel like it's too sticky, you can add a little bit more water. That little bit of water you saw in that bowl with the lamb was the only one that I rinsed. You do not pour water into your curry just whenever you feel like it. In fact, when you pour to the side just to bring down the heat. Cover it, give a shake, and let it be for 10 minutes. Then you're going to add bowl 3. So I would say it's about 10 minutes that have passed. We're cooking on number 3, and we are going to add bowl number 4, which are the tomatoes. Give it a mix. It's all about slow cooking. And cooking a curry doesn't mean you have to use the worst pieces of lamb. This is leg of lamb. It's the best one. Lamb knuckles work very well if you like bones. And obviously, if you wanted more gravy for a bunny chow, you would add more water later, not now. So as you see it, I have had a little bit of water in my rinsed meat, and I put a little bit in the side to get it to simmer. What I usually do is when you bring down the temperature of the curry, it's a good idea to go and put it to number 4 for about 2 minutes, just to get a bit of a bubble and bring it down to number 3 again. So the next time we're going to look at this curry, we're going to close the lid, and you're going to leave it just to get a little bit of a sizzle there, which is happening. I want you to see this because every stove is different and you have to play with the heat. But you don't want to burn your curry. You want the natural juices of the lamb to come out, or any, whether you're cooking chicken or as well. So I'm going to lower it now. I think it's not even a minute. And I'm going to leave it. The next time you're going to look at it, you always can come and make sure it's not sticking. But you'll see, I'm not going to put any more water. More juices will be out. I'm going to leave it for about 30 minutes. But in that 30 minutes, in about 20 minutes time, I'll just have a peek to see whether everything's okay. It's very important that you lower the heat at the right time. And it'll be time for bowl number 5, which is the potatoes. Normally a lamb curry, it will take about 2 hours. The secret is to use a bigger pot. Now I've got half a kilo in quite a big pot that will cook about 1 kilo and 1.5 kilos. So mine should be about 1.5 hours cooking. But now it's just simmering, all the juices are coming out, and it's just blending. See you later. So this is about 15 minutes into our curry. It's still on 3. Don't open your curry unnecessarily. You can see it's actually getting a lot of liquid. Ow. You can just give it a little stir to make sure that there is enough liquid. The tomatoes are melting down nicely. And we're going to leave this and check in about 15 minutes more, because it's not time for the potatoes. You can actually see that the lamb, you want the lamb to be 3/4 cooked before you put your potatoes in. So we're going to close it and come back to it. So it's 15 minutes since we last checked. Everything looks good. And I am thinking, if I press into the meat, to me it feels, okay, let's try another one, 3/4 cooked, right? You can actually chew it if you like to see. So I'm going to now put in bowl 5, and that is the potatoes. I'm going to take it with my hand, put it in. Now, if you were making a bunny chow, for instance, can you see that glossy look the curry has? That tells you when it's nearly time for your potatoes. You're going to see it's going to disappear again. And when you put a little bit of water now, remember I only added a little bit when I braised the curry. There was some in my cut lamb, my bowl 3. And if you wanted to make more gravy, now you would add a little more. But I think maybe I would do it just so that you can see. Make sure that they're all submerged nicely. And then I'm going to pour a little bit of water on this side so you don't wash out any masala. Just a little bit. I would say 1/4 cup. You're going to give the pot a shake. Like that. And I won't be adding any more water to this curry, even if I was making a bunny chow. Okay, so I'm going to now turn up the heat to 4. Just until I see some bubbles. And when I do, I'm going to bring it down to 3 again and leave it until the potatoes are cooked through. You can use any potato. I mean, some people say they want melting potatoes, but you use it until the potatoes are cooked through. You use any potato till it's cooked through and your curry will be ready. Your meat will be absolutely tender. So the next time I look at this is maybe in another 15 minutes or so, just to make sure everything's fine, not catching. I hope one thing you are learning is that it's all about slow cooking. A curry is not a stew. There's not tons of water. Neither is there lots of tomato, but lots of patience. So I'm going to wait until I see a few more bubbles steaming up there. And I'm going to turn it down to 3 and leave it for 15 minutes just to check whether my potatoes are still submerged. And yes, this curry should be ready in half an hour actually from now. Till later. So my curry is bubbling nicely on number 4. I brought it down to number 3 and I'm going to leave it like that now for half an hour. Hello again. So now it's half an hour since we put the potatoes in. I'm going to check whether they're cooked. You can just, okay, it is going in quite well, but I'd like it to cook a little bit more. So I'm going to leave it a little bit longer. Just going to make sure everything is covered here. And today I didn't cook rice, because normally you would have it with curry and rice. I actually feel like a bunny chow and I don't have the bread for a bunny chow, so I'm going to make a plan. So we're going to leave it a little bit longer, and we'll get back in about 10 minutes. So we're back in 10 minutes. You can see the glossy look the curry has. Tells you it's ready. And my coriander from my garden's not ready, so I'm using my frozen version, which is fine. Some people may not agree, which is okay. And then I'm going to put all the switches off. Okay. So I feel like a bunny chow. I don't have, usually I'll buy a ciabatta roll or shop-made bread. I don't have all that. So I've got sliced bread. I've taken 3 slices here and cut the 2. My homemade acha, which I'm going to have with it. Usually the good thing to have with it is grated carrot salad with some vinegar, chili, salt, and yeah, you can also check the salt in your curry. It may not be enough. That means tasting it, and you can taste it a little bit. For me, it needs a little bit more. So I've started the cooking with coarse salt, and I'm just going to drizzle some fine salt over this. And I'm going to make my bunny with sliced bread, which you won't tell the difference. Extra potato there, feel like eating that. And then you've got your lid, squish it down. There's your bunny and there's your lamb curry. Enjoy.